Hello everyone, David here from Beyond the Kingdoms, and today I'm bringing you my first event review of the year, the 2019 Festival of the Arts at Epcot. Ever since the first year of this festival, I've thoroughly enjoyed this event at Epcot. I now go in with very high expectations, hoping that Disney maintains good quality with all of the offerings at this festival. So let's jump right into my review of this experience that I just got back from this past weekend. Now, as I said in my guide episode, a major focus of this event is activities. There are lots of ways you can get your hands involved in making some art. And since most of the activities take place at the Festival Showplace, let's take a look at that area first. Right off the bat, I must say that over the Christmas and New Year period, Disney refurbished the interior of this building and it looks fantastic. The colors are much lighter now, and it really opens up the space nicely. I love the subtle nods to the pattern of Spaceship Earth at the food counter as well. Aside from the new aesthetics, Disney has also moved around the layout of this space for 2019. The t-shirt printing shop is now inside this location on the right-hand side. Like before, you can choose several designs of t-shirts and colors and have them printed right in front of you. On the left side of the showplace is a festival shop. This is where you can get a lot of the annual pass holder merchandise as well. But as much as the layout flows really well now and it's really convenient to have all of these offerings in one place, it does distract a little bit from the workshops and seminars taking place in here. The crowds eating at the back of the space can get a little bit noisy, making it hard to hear the speakers at the seminars. I also noticed that the gallery inside the showplace was trimmed down significantly, which was a real bummer to me. The first year featured original concept art pieces that I adored, and it was really sad to see the absence of them this year. This is perhaps the only downside I experienced at the entire festival this year. But a great offering I got to experience for my very first time this year was a special paid-for workshop. The Ink and Paint workshop is offered more than any other paid-for workshop here at the Festival Showplace, and it's available nearly every week. At my session, the workshop was led by Ink and Paint artist Lynn Ripberger. Lynn worked on classics like The Little Mermaid, and if you're a fan of Disney animation, you will love this workshop. At the very start of the session, she explained the different cells that are made by artists and how the production process works. After a brief overview, she then took us through a step-by-step guide of painting our own ink and paint cell. As a kid, I used to love drawing and painting, so I found this incredibly relaxing and exciting. At my session, we painted Mickey Mouse, but Lynn explained that for 2019, every session will have a new character. I will soon have an article published on the main website detailing my entire experience from start to finish. If you're interested in this, I would highly recommend you book ahead because it will sell out. The cost is $39 per person, and pass holders do get a discount. If for any reason you can't book it because it's sold out or you're not quite sure if you want to participate, I will say this. You can stand at the back of the showplace and simply watch the workshop. The same goes for all the free seminars. You'll still learn a lot from the session, and it'll give you a small taste of what to expect. If you go to the parks a lot and you're looking for something different to do, this is certainly a place to make a stop at. Next, I want to move outside the showplace and onto an aspect of the event that I feel I tremendously undersold in my guide episode, the Festival Market. All around World Showcase and even a little bit into Future World, you will see dozens of pop-up art booths. This is where you'll see a large collection of art available to purchase. One thing that makes this really special is that the artists themselves visit periodically, and they'll answer questions and even sign some artwork. If you already have a favorite Disney artist, I recommend trying to find them on social media or on their own website, and find out when and where they will visit the festival. Disney does provide a list of who will be out on the day in the Times Guide, but it's really difficult to research this if you're trying to plan a few weeks ahead. And that's because the lineup is simply always changing. If you're new to the world of Disney art, you are really in for a treat because there are some great pieces to look at here. I also love that there is a wide price range when it comes to purchasing some items. Of course, the large paintings will set you back a few $100s, but almost all of the booths always have smaller prints too, which are much more affordable and range from about $40 to $50 each. So you don't have to part ways with large sums of money to collect some pieces to hang up at home. There's even a selection of non-Disney items as well. I found a great booth towards the front of the lagoon featuring several paintings of famous musicians, and they were fantastic. And back by the Morocco Pavilion, there was a booth selling a large collection of jewelry as well. So don't think that it's all Disney art. There is a decent variety and range of items to purchase here. But of course, one of my personal favorites was the Acme Archives booth, selling dozens of Star Wars pieces. These were great. And one more feature I want to highlight here is that some artists are actually producing some pieces at the festival itself. On the pathway in between Future World and World Showcase, you'll see the 3D chalk art. These are really cool pieces, and on the first few days of the festival, there was an artist creating a stunning piece with a spaceship blasting off into space. It was very impressive. He mentioned that this would take him about 3 days to complete, so it was really fun to come back a few times and see his progress. I was expecting more artists like this around World Showcase like I saw in the first year, but I didn't see much of that. Of course, you have the artists at the booths sometimes working on some pieces, but I wish they had more physical setups of artists doing demonstrations. And that's because I really enjoy watching the process. But overall, these art booths bring a really fun and refreshing vibe around Epcot. This is really what sets the event apart from the rest. Shifting gears, let me briefly talk about food. I will say that Festival of the Arts has really stepped up its food game. The dishes served here have always been really pretty to look at. But in the past, the pricing was a little steep for what you got. Now, I know that it's always about attention to detail and higher quality of ingredients, but this year, it seems that style and substance have really been married together well. In fact, I think the food here is starting to rival Food and Wine Festival. I also enjoyed that many dishes had multiple layers to them and were very complex, not just in presentation, but also in flavor. For example, over at Decadent Delights, we have dishes that are said to have a mixture of grand flourishes mixed with modern design. And the chocolate peanut butter pretzel crunch is certainly one of the more sleek desserts here. You get a nice balance of salty flavors from the pretzel mixed in with the rich taste of the chocolate cake. So a lot of the dishes here are great for a foodie who likes to enjoy and savor their food slowly. Now, I will give you a sneak peek of some of my favorite and least favorite dishes in today's review. And let's get the less impressive stuff out of the way first. The only new dishes that weren't so great were the plum-infused cherry tomatoes in China, and sadly the brie bread bowl in France. This was a little too soupy for me, and I must say that the France booth at most festivals seems to disappoint me. There is far better food to be enjoyed inside the pavilion at the restaurants and the patisserie. But some of my favorite dishes worth highlighting here are the choco flan in Mexico, which was a great size for the price and really rich in flavor. And one of my tip-top favorites was the sushi donut in Japan. I waited a long time in line for this one, but it was well worth it. The fish was very fresh and delicious, and look at that presentation. Beautiful. Stay tuned later this week when I post my Foodie Friday review from the festival. I promise this one is gonna be a good one. But let's wrap up this review with a look at entertainment. You may think that this festival is obviously all about the visual arts, but the performances here are outstanding. And I think they're Epcot's best. As I mentioned in my guide, there are 2 hubs for entertainment, the Fountain View Stage in Future World and the American Gardens Theater in World Showcase. At the Fountain View stage, my favorite show to see is the Visual Art in Performance. This is only offered on the weekends from Friday to Monday, and only twice a day at 12 noon and 4 p.m. The day I caught this, Disney artist Trevor Carlton took to the stage and painted a fantastic piece featuring Stitch in just about 10 to 15 minutes. It was amazing to watch his technique and speed live in person. I highly recommend seeing this because it's rare to watch an artist like this in the process. And like I said, it's a pretty quick show, so it's not going to eat up too much of your time. But even better than this is the Disney on Broadway concert at the American Gardens Theater. If you know me, you know that this is my favorite element of this event. This is a 30-minute concert featuring a pair of Broadway stars. In this case, I got to see Carrie Butler and Kevin Massey. They were both terrific and sang a great collection of songs from Disney musicals such as Tarzan, Beauty and the Beast, the new Frozen show, of course, and even Hunchback of Notre Dame. Kevin did a great job performing the classic song Out There. This is definitely a must-see show. This and Candlelight Processional are the two best shows that happen here at Epcot festivals. Now, I have a slight preference to this one because it's much easier to get a seat to, and I'm a theater nerd. On the day I visited, I happened to get to the theater a full hour before the show. Now, I wasn't planning on doing this, it just sort of worked out that way. And as you can see, I got a great seat. But I did notice that about 45 minutes before the show, only about 24 groups were in the standby line. And then suddenly, at 30 minutes to showtime, the line stretched all the way to the island in front of Italy by the gondolas. If you see this when you attend, don't be scared, because I noticed that at both the 5:30 show and the 6:45 show that I attended, everyone who waited in line got to see the show without a problem. I think this is mainly because there are less dining packages sold at this event. At Candlelight Processional, I absolutely say get the dining package. At the concerts for Food and Wine and Flower and Garden, it really depends on your interest in the band performing. But here at Festival of the Arts, the dining package is only offered at 5 restaurants, and some of them being the less popular ones. So it seems to be much easier to get a seat in the standby line here. And I attended the show on a Saturday night of Martin Luther King weekend, so it was very busy. So if I got this good seat, you can too. So, final thoughts. Festival of the Arts continues to be an outstanding Epcot event. First of all, it is possibly the most family-friendly event of them all. Kids will enjoy the playground in Future World and several other activities they can do around the park. I noticed things like the kids' sidewalk chalk art by Mouse Gear, and of course Figment's brush with the Masters. And by the way, this year's prize for this scavenger hunt is your choice of a festival coloring book. It's been a little bit better in the past, but I suppose kids will really enjoy this. And don't forget the expression section. That's a lot of fun for the whole family. Secondly, this event is great simply because of the weather too. January and February are my favorite months to visit Disney World because it's not too hot. It may get a little bit cool in the morning and in the evening, but the sun will almost always be out with very few clouds during the day. So you get a nice mix of a cool breeze mixed with sunlight. Epcot can get really hot in the summer and it's huge, so this time of year is an excellent time to visit. But most of all, this event is really great because it's just the right size and maintains great quality. Every aspect of the festival is top-notch. There is no weak link in the bunch. And I love that it's not too overwhelming. I hope Disney keeps it at this perfect size for a while. But this time around, I also realized that the spirit of this festival really puts the original idea of Epcot back into focus. As you look around enjoying all the beautiful works of art, you're reminded of the stunning architecture and design throughout the park, especially in World Showcase. Special activities like the Ink and Paint Workshop take things back to Disney roots with animation. And the food is not only good to look at, but delicious to eat as well. So I can definitely say with confidence now that this is my favorite Epcot festival now, even outweighing Food and Wine, which has become a little too overwhelming for me now. Festival of the Arts is perfect for the person who enjoys the finer details of Epcot and obviously a fan of the arts. After going this year, I realized that it blows my mind that Disney didn't start this event years ago, but I'm certainly happy that it's here now. So with that, my friends, we're at the end of my review. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for plenty more videos from this event. But until next time, remember, if you can dream it, you can do it.